Hi guys, this is George back here with another video and welcome to another episode here working in Enchanted Land in Planet Coaster, where as you can see in this episode I'm going to be building a log flume. So of course a manufacturer that we're all familiar with, Arrow, is a classic roller coaster manufacturer that are no longer in business. However, they have manufactured some log flumes, and the one at Liseberg in Sweden I believe is an Arrow, and also the ones at the Busch Gardens parks as well. So there are a few of them out there, and I decided I want one in this park. Of course, it's a vintage park, so I didn't want to go with a more modern Mack or Intamin flume. Of course, there's not really an option in this game. A log flume is a log flume in this game. However, if this was a real park, it would be an Arrow log flume. So as you can see, the layout is pretty much done there. There is also something else I need to address, and that is the fact that the last episode that you haven't actually seen didn't actually go to plan. So unfortunately, something wrong happened with the file and it didn't work. In the last episode, well, what should have been the last episode, I actually built a racing wooden coaster. So there's two wooden coasters that race each other. Unfortunately, it things didn't work out. The file broke. It decided it didn't want to work, so I don't have the footage of when I actually built that. However, I will show a POV of those two coasters in the final episode of the series, which is approaching. There's only a few episodes left to go, so there's two reasons for me ending this park. One, it's starting to lag quite a bit. It's not awful, it's still playable. However, the game is starting to lag a bit. The second reason is I'm running out of space, and to be honest, I don't know how much more I'm actually going to fit in this park. I have pretty much used all of the space that it gives you to build. So, yeah, I am having a bit of trouble fitting things in to this park. So, there's not going to be loads more rides. There are going to be, so basically, I've decided I was originally going to build more rides. However, with these two problems, I have now decided I'm going to build the last few rides that I really want to build in this park. And then I'm going to end it a bit earlier than I was going to originally. So, there are going to be three more roller coasters being built in this park, and there'll be the next three episodes, and then there'll be one more where I open the park, show you POVs of all those coasters, see how the park operates, and yeah, just a bit of a finale to the series, really. So yeah, four more episodes to come after this episode. As you can see, I'm working on the terrain here for this log flume. So this log flume has a Swiss theme to it. Of course, this is a vintage kind of classic amusement park, so I don't want there to be loads of theming. However, this one is themed to the Swiss mountains, and you're going up into the mountains uh, on this ride. And so it does have a lot of rock work around it. However, it is landscaping around this ride. There's some rock work, some trees, and some of the rocks at the top are kind of snowy rocks. So you'll see them going in a minute. However, this ride hasn't got loads of theming. I did still want it to have that classic kind of feel to it. And if this was a real park, you would probably have the log flume that was built around this terrain, and then maybe the rocks were added later, or maybe the rocks were already there and they built it around all of the rock work and maybe painted the rock work in or something. I don't know. But I think of something like Rutschebanen at Tivoli Gardens, that has quite a lot of rock work and kind of fake mountains around it. However, that was added a lot later in the ride's life. The ride opened well over 100 years ago, and of course the theming that it has wouldn't have been built when the ride first opened. It's the third oldest operating roller coaster in the world. It didn't have that theming when it first opened. That was added later on. So you could think that maybe this ride has got something similar going on with it. Of course, this ride is a lot more modern than that would have been. You would have probably imagined this would have been built around the 1980s, 1990s with this ride. So one of the more modern rides that's going to be featured in this park. However, it is still definitely a classic amusement park attraction instead of a more modern ride. So here we go. You can see all the rocks going in there. So we've got the grey ones going in there, and then also the snowy ones. We've got the alpine ones and the snowy ones at the top as well. And you'll see all those going. I don't film doing all of the rock work. However, there'll be a cut in the video and you'll see it all done after that shortly. You can see putting in some kind of Swiss slash Bavarian style buildings there. I don't actually keep this one because that you can't actually see a lot of it because of the terrain and where the drop is positioned. So I decided, you know what, I'm just going to get rid of that. Oh, there we go. There we go. We got a bit of a cut there. Moving on over to the second drop now. So yeah, it's got one lift hill, however, two drops on this ride. And here we go. You can see one of the buildings going in here. You're going to drop through there. before making your way back to the station. And then, yeah, you'll see more rock work going in, and then the trees. And I also put in a couple of flat rides in this episode as well, so you'll see them go in later. There we go, just doing the roof wherever I can put it without it getting too close to the ride there. There we go. And back to the rock work. Oh no, I put in a couple more buildings first and then do the rock work around the buildings rather than the other way round. Makes it a bit easier that way. There we go, and one more going in over there. Right at the top of the mountain, that one. Yeah, I do really like the look of this by the time it's finished. It's definitely very different to what the rest of the park looks like, because the rest of the park's very green. There's quite a lot of water around, and there is water around this. There's water at the base of this ride, kind of at the base of the mountain. However, it's very green. There's a lot of green and orange trees, and it's kind of more like a garden. This one is more kind of Swiss mount. This is themed to the Swiss mountains, so it does look very different when you go back and look at the full park, and this one does stand out a lot. However, I do really like the natural look that it has to it. I do want this park to be very natural looking. It's like going back to Tivoli Gardens. I've not been there. I really want to go to that park. It looks absolutely beautiful, but it's got loads of kind of garden areas in that park, and it's pretty much a massive garden with rides added in there as kind of an afterthought. It's like if you go and visit some kind of like the gardens of a castle here in the UK, and you just go and walk around and see all the landscaping, and maybe there'll be a hedge maze or something. And it's like one of those, but then they just add rides in. However, it's been designed to be that well landscaped from the start, because of course there's rides there that are over 100 years old. So yeah, it's a beautiful looking amusement park. I really want to go there one day. Hopefully it'll happen in the near future. So yeah, a lot of inspiration for this park has come from Tivoli Gardens. Here we go, you can see more rock work going in there. Making sure to theme the back as well, of course. On this ride, you're not really going to see the back of the mountain. However, on other rides that I'm going to be building in future episodes, you will most likely see the back of this mountain. So I didn't want to just leave it. I wanted it to kind of blend in with the rest of the ride, make sure it looks nice from every angle. Because there will most likely be a roller coaster around this site. Here we go, so you're going to see a cut in the video in a minute, and the rock work will all be done because I decided, yeah, I didn't want to film all of it because it's not the most exciting thing watching me placing in all of this rock work. And I decided I actually want to get more done in this video than just the mountain, so you will see more get done later on. Yeah, it took a long time. I spent probably about 45 minutes doing this rock work, so it does take quite a lot of time. However, I do really like the look of it by the end. I've done the kind of themed areas with loads of rocks around this, like before, like my pirate area in the last park I did. Yeah, I do think it looks good, although it does take a lot of time. Luckily, this one there wasn't a huge amount of space to cover and rock work, but it still does take a while. Here we go. This is where it started to get a bit more difficult, trying to find the right size rocks to kind of fit in where the trough of the log flume is, making sure that they're not getting in the way of each other. Because of course you've got that tunnel there, and it is very low to the ground. It's like the elevation of this ride is quite high. However, there's not very much of this ride where you're kind of high off the ground, because it kind of follows the terrain. And here we go, you just saw the cut in the video there. And I'm now working on this lake at the base of the mountain. So all of this section's water here, and then I also put some rock work on the water as well, and then you'll see all the trees go in. There we go. Making sure that there's not loads of grass, because I want all of the grass, or most of the grass, covered up by the time this is done, and I put a lot of trees surrounding that section, and of course after the second drop there, you'll see, here we go, the trees are starting to go in. Different style of tree to what I've been using for the rest of the park. However, all the areas where you're close to the pathway of different kind of sections of the park, I do cover these trees up to make sure you can't see them unless you're actually at this log flume, with it having a different style to the rest of the park and different theme. There we go, you can see all of these trees going in just here. And then of course I put some snowy ones in at the top as well. Yeah, there wasn't loads of space to put trees in because, of course, as I was saying earlier, with the actual ride itself kind of following the terrain, there's not much of the ride that's high up above the terrain, except for that turn after the lift hill. So most of the ride you are right on ground level pretty much. And it's just a higher elevation from the rest of the park. Here we go, you can see all the snowy trees going in there. Here we go, so it was at this point where I decided I did want to kind of add some more in, but you can see another cut in the video there. I put some more trees in off camera, and then you can see me working on the queue line here now. So we've got the station going in, and then the queue line and exit, of course. In terms of the flat rides, I'll probably landscape them off camera, because in the next episode I'm going to be focusing on the next coaster that's going to be in this park. It's been a long time since I've built a big coaster in this park, with the exception of the wooden coaster, but of course I wasn't able to complete that video, and something went wrong with the file, so yeah, I don't have the footage of me building that anymore, unfortunately. But I will definitely show you a POV in the final episode. There we go, you can see a little bit of theming going on the station there. However, there wasn't really loads of space to work with, so I decided, I'll just put a door and a window on there. It's not as if you're really going to see it, and there's not loads of space to put stuff. And you can see a pathway going in over there now. And there's the exit. And then, of course, we've got the queue line going in as well. So yeah, this section actually ended up being really close to those trees, so I wasn't really able to cover them up too well. However, it is what it is. You can see all of these alpine trees going in this area, and you can see me here building a bit of a barricade out of those trees. That's where those trees are going to end, and it's going to be the normal trees that I use for the park, which are going to be in front of those ones, so you can't see the alpine trees unless you're in the alpine section. There we go, you can see another bit of a wall going in there out of these trees. There we go, it's just about filling in all of the space there. I might do some terrain painting off camera as well, over in the queue line. There we go, you can see some trees going around the lake just there. And I will put more of the standard trees I use behind those ones as well, but I'll do that off camera. Because as I said earlier, then there most likely will be a roller coaster in that site. Yeah, I've had to plan space a lot for this part because, of course, as I was saying earlier, with running out of space, I've had to think a lot as to what I want to build and where I want to put it and how I'm going to fit it into the park because I've not got loads of space left. There we go. You can see those trees are done over on that side now, just working on this side, and then I'll put in the other trees that I've used for the rest of the park. And yeah, they're quite well covered up. You can't see them unless you are over there. There you go. You can see all of them going in now. And there we go. That's nearly done on that side. There we go, moving on to this side now. I think I put a few more in going kind of around the back of the mountain. Yeah, there we go. You can see those going in now. I decided there needed to be a few more just so you couldn't see the mountain from this angle too much. There we go. You can see all of those going in, nearly finished with those trees there. Of course, I'm not doing that section just yet because that's leading further back into the park. So that's where I'm going to be needing to build the next rides. And talking of the next rides, here they are. You can see two flat rides going in, and I actually spent quite a bit of time looking for a background on here now. I discovered not even that long ago that there are kind of fun fair ride backgrounds in this game, and I decided, you know what? This is the perfect park to use one of them. It's a classic amusement park with loads of lighting, loads of fun fair style lighting, and I think it'll work well in this park. So I decided to use one, and I also put in another ride as well. So I put in a kind of, those Husk Condor rides. Basically, Schwarzkopf used to manufacture those, and they manufactured some of those. So I decided I wanted one of those in this park. So with this one, it's one of those Schwarzkopf ones rather than a Huss one. But you'll see that go in a minute. And we are getting close to the end of this episode here. So, as I said earlier, I'll do all the landscaping around here off camera. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at George Kelly and follow me on Twitter at George Kelly. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, everyone, and I will see you all later. Bye.